Should you sketch before you carve? In a word, yes. And I'm going to give you 5 reasons why. Wood needed. Sketching or carving out helps you decide how much wood you're going to need for your project. If you're anything like me, you have lots of bits of wood lying around, and quite often I have to sketch my project to fit the wood rather than the wood to fit the project. It's also an excellent way to use all different sizes of wood and probably come up with some projects that you hadn't previously thought of. So take my worm here, for example. This project only came about because I had a long, slim piece of wood, and I thought, you know what, I could carve a worm out of it. And I had another flat piece of wood that I could use as a base to make for the dirt. So that's the only reason that project came about, the size of the wood. Proportions. Maybe you started randomly carving a face sometime and you realise the nose is too big, or the eyes are kind of skewed, or one eye's massive, one eye's small. While I think it's fun to just randomly carve things, I also think it's important to work on making what you want to come to life in your carving. So sketching practice on faces, for example, you can learn what you want the basic shape face to look like, then use that sketch throughout the whole process to keep your carving on track. And remember, this isn't about becoming the next Da Vinci, this is all about training your brain to recognise and manipulate simple shapes. Here's a quick example. You might try and draw a face on a piece of wood before you carve it. You'll do the nose and the eyes and the lips, but at this stage it's far more important to find the basic shapes and proportions and get those right first. So we're going to do a triangle shape for the nose and lines for under the brow just to give us a good starting point. Then with a couple of cuts like so, we have the beginnings of a face. Just a side note, if you make bearded characters like this, then you can completely avoid carving mouths, which are a total pain in the arse. Design skills. Some people find themselves becoming frustrated with their artwork, thinking that art isn't for everyone. It totally is, by the way. Like any other skill, it takes practice, and I'm certainly no master. You'll find the more you push yourself, even if it's just a little improvement per drawing, that you'll become much better over time. Then you'll be able to communicate your ideas more clearly and develop your style in your carvings. David Bowie actually has an excellent quote that I think relates quite well to this. If you feel safe in the area that you're working in, you're not working in the right area. Always go a little further into the water than you're capable of being in. Go a little out of your depth. And when you don't feel that your feet are quite touching the bottom, you're just about in the right place to do something exciting. Thanks, David. Portraying your ideas to others. There's probably going to be a time when someone else asks you for a carving, and the more you learn your drawing skills, the better you'll be able to portray what the end carving, what the end result will look like. This also helps you think about how long a carving might take, what problems you might encounter, and probably the tools you're going to need to help you create the shapes that you can see in your head. For the hell of it. I think most people will find a kind of calm or zen while drawing or doodling, and I think you should keep a sketch pad close by at all times for those moments. I have a few sketch pads dotted around the house and a couple on the shed because I know there's going to be times when a random idea pops into my head and I want to get it down on paper before I forget it. Generally when it comes to carving, I don't think you need to be good at drawing to create a good carving, but helping your brain understand the basic shapes that make something up, like a face or a silhouette of a body, will make you faster at carving and more accurate. And make sure to let your mind wander. Make a slug with a big smile on its face, a knight trudging through the mud, a happy worm munching on a leaf, a trio of busy robots, or a haggard hiker looking for the perfect spot to eat his lunch. Make sure you enjoy the process and go a little out of your depth. Happy carving.